So what is the right time to start a business in Canada? It's really important to avoid some illusions about what really happens once your business exists in Canada. And it's also important to start your business because of tangible reasons that give you practical value, not illusions. Let's talk about that. Check the link in the description of this video and you're gonna see how we can help businesses of different sizes at different stages in this journey to success in Canada. Well, but let's look at it here. So first thing I want to mention is there's two ways for companies to become international that I have seen over the years. The first way is a very organic way. That is when you already do business with a company back home in your country of origin, and this company ends up taking you abroad. In other words, it's your supplier that helps you internationalize. So that can happen when you sell to a local office of a multinational and suddenly they really like what you do and they say, well, why don't you sell this to us in our home country as well? That's great. And sometimes it's your local client that internationalizes first. You know, they decide to do business in another country and they like the current suppliers. You're one of them. They say, well, come here and help us in this new country where we're opening an office. So that's a very organic way. But that's a little bit rare. Most of the cases and people that look at this video here in our channel probably are thinking about internationalizing in a very intentional way. They want to internationalize. And let's see two key moments in this journey. First, there is this moment of decision where it could be induced by a dissatisfaction with the current state of things or in search for something better. There's typically three forces that will push us abroad to other country. Maybe in our home country, the business environment is complicated, it's tough, it's difficult, the labor laws, the taxation, the regulations, the whatever, ethical environment, sanctions, could be any number of things. And there is usually a lot of effort compared to the results that are obtained. You think sometimes, you say, hey, doing what we do so well here, if we were in an environment that's easier, we could do so much better. That's the motivation about the business environment. The second force is about business growth. It's not like I'm trying to run away from a tough environment, but I'm trying to expand. I'm like, okay, everything is fine here, but there is a world out there and I can sell more to more people everywhere. And out there I can find perhaps clients that pay better because they have stronger currency or they value what I do better. I may have access to better talent, a better pool of very well qualified people, or I may have access to a technology that here for me it's not so easy to have, or this other country like Canada has a very good base for a lot of trade agreements and I can do business in many places from there. It's tough for me because my current country doesn't have that. So it could be any number of reasons, but all of them I put in a group called business growth. And then there's the quality of life part, which is people may want to move, may want to immigrate. Maybe the owner wants to live in another country. Maybe some key employees, you're losing key employees moving to a place like Canada and you say, hey, what's magical about this place? Let me open an office there. This way I don't lose good people. I can transfer them internally and they still work for me. So it could be any combination of this. So these are typically the reasons why somebody will want to internationalize. And then when they decide to do it, they say, okay, then let's open a company in Canada. Let me focus here on very quickly two mirages that happen or illusions about the existence of a Canadian business. These are typically two things that I see people thinking that are not aligned with what we see in reality. The first thinking is, oh, if I have a business open in Canada, it's going to be easier to generate sales in Canada or in another place. Well, yes and no. Of course, opening a business will be an important part of that, but there's so much more than just that, right? So you have to be very careful thinking that only the fact that there is a business in Canada, maybe with a Canadian address in a co-working space or something, that alone will make people think that you are a local company in Canada and now they're doing business with you. There's way more things that are taken into consideration. The adequacy of what you sell, how competitive you are, what's the quality and the adequacy of your message, your marketing message, how people perceive what you're selling. There's all that. So just having the Canadian business open do not on its own create new sales for you at all. Okay, so that's an illusion. Second illusion is that, oh, if I open a business in Canada, Canadians will see that I'm committed to Canada and suddenly I will belong in Canada because, see, I can pull here a document and there's, certificate of incorporation and I'm a Canadian business. It's so easy to actually open a business in Canada that people already know that. It's very easy. You can, from anywhere in the world, can open a business in Canada, but then what? People are very skeptical. They say, okay, sure, you have a business on paper, but are you really here? So people will want to see other ways to display your commitment and your sense of belonging into Canada. Purely having a business open will not automatically give your business that sense of belonging and that image of commitment to Canada. Okay, these are two illusions. Okay, so which are the actions then that people typically take to actually open the business in Canada? Well, these actions, they will be certainly when there is some very true need about being in Canada, right? So for example, you are compelled to incorporate your business in Canada typically because of three reasons. The first reason is, let's say you are working on innovation and you found some organization in Canada that can help you with that, with the talent, with the funding, but they will only do that with a Canadian business. So of course you need to incorporate a Canadian business so you can have access to some incentive programs. So that's the first one. The second type of situation where you will need to open a business in Canada is people say, well, we'd like to buy from you, but I don't know, you're further away. Well, because people buy and sell from one country to the other forever. It's called export, right? And import. I mean, that happens in products and services all the time. But in many cases, for whatever reason, the buyer may think, well, but I want to buy from somebody who's here. I want to have a local office. I want to have your service team near me. And whatever reason, for a commercial motivation that will make people want to see that you're actually here before they sign a contract and buy from you. So that's a second reason, actual tangible reasons that make you need to open a business in Canada, is to have your commercial opportunity materialize. And then the third reason is, of course, immigration reasons. Let's say if you are coming to Canada in one of the many categories that will allow a business person to move to Canada to bring the business here, then of course you need to have a business, not only a business, but a valid, viable, trustworthy business plan, right? That shows that you did your homework. And then at that time you need to open the business as well to show that you're taking the steps, okay? So these are three actual reasons why you will open your business in Canada. It's not because just opening a business is going to give you sales. It's not just because having an open business in Canada, it will show commitment and show that you belong in Canada, okay? So in other words, there's a lot of previous work that you can do actually before spending too much time and effort in Canada. Because remember, the minute you open a business in Canada, it may not generate any opportunity for you, but you 100% generate obligations for you. You will have to file taxes in Canada. You will have bureaucratic responsibilities to inform the government of certain things. You will be incurring legal fees, maybe accounting fees and all that. So the cost of opening a business in Canada, the cost side is very real, very tangible, very true, quantifiable. The benefit, it can be very illusionary. So be careful with that and make sure that there is a true tangible benefit as well when you decide to incur the very tangible costs and steps, okay? There's a link here in the description of the video so you can learn more about how we can help. Good luck.